An ICE spokesperson has confirmed to the New York Post that dozens of migrants who rushed the border and attacked Texas National Guard members in March have been released into the United States. The spokesperson told the Post that releases are on a case-by-case basis, but a Post source actually says it's much worse, saying ICE releases migrants into the U.S. because they can't deport them fast enough and because authorities need to make room at detention centers for the worst of the worst. Sometimes we arrest a child molester and he gets released because of housing space, or the charge is not egregious enough to keep him or her in custody. Matt Whitaker is the former acting attorney general and a Trump campaign surrogate, and he joins me now. Matt, there is so much wrong with what I just read, and I guess we could start with the claim that child molesters could even be released into the country because of lack of housing space. Another way to not house them is to deport them automatically. How is that not the hard and fast rule for people who come into the country with known criminal records?
Well, good morning, and you're right. I mean, this is a broken system, but it's broken because Joe Biden is unwilling to enforce the laws on the books. You know, we had this working in the Trump administration, and these types of folks that violated our laws and in one case assaulted our police officers and Border Patrol agents should be sent back and should be never allowed to come in the first place. I think this is one of the fallacies of the Biden administration's policies, is that they seem to believe that they have to let everybody in, including the ringleaders of this riot that happened on our border, including a guy that pulled down the fencing in the first place that caused so many of these folks to rush the border and to, you know, go after our National Guard and Border Patrol agents. It's a shame, but it is just a small example of the broader problem that has been caused by these policies.
Yeah, and one of the issues, Matt, is that there's just so much red tape and so many rules that these border agents and ICE officials have to follow that allow people with actual criminal records into the country. And then, you know, they have a notice to appear in court and it never gets followed, so they're here forever. Is there an easy way to get rid of all that red tape, to streamline this process so that known criminals aren't in this country, keeping Americans safer?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing would be rolling back Joe Biden's executive orders. You know, he approved and signed almost 100 border policies that undid everything we had done in the Trump administration and is causing a lot of this chaos. And I think if we just allowed the Border Patrol agents to do their jobs and to enforce the law as it is on the books, to remove not only criminal aliens, but also those that have no right or ability to be here, and then quite simply implement Remain in Mexico, Safe Third Country, and a couple other key policies, I think we could have a significant drop, not only in apprehensions at the border, but also making sure that we're not allowing terrorists into our country, to your point, pending years-long process to adjudicate their interests and their ability to be in the country, which is zero.
Yeah. Well, Matt, now that you're here, given your background, we also want to get your take on the Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity. There's a lot of predictions rolling around. What's yours?
You know, my prediction is that they will find a very broad immunity for presidents. With their official acts, they'll put a black letter law down that says this is what it is for presidents going forward. And then I think they'll send it back to Judge Chutkan to look at Jack Smith's indictment and decide which allegations, which acts are official and which were personal. But, you know, I think presidents need to have broad immunity from, their actions, because, again, we cannot have what we have right now, which is the next administration prosecuting the president and members of the previous administration. I mean, that's the thing of third world banana republics.
Well, the Supreme Court releases its orders and opinions at 10 o'clock, so we will be watching. Matt, thank you so much.
I will too. Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.